Fear outcomes, that's what you're expecting, they're always negative because they're not from God. The Bible clearly says, fear not, for the Lord thy God is with thee. Fear is the absence of God. It's a belief that you're using against yourself, a faith you have against yourself, against progress towards God. When the Bible speaks of the fear of God, it is usually referring to respecting him. It's not trying to scare you into the kingdom. The fear that things will not work out, even if you're doing your best, is not of God. He inspires us that we will be more than conquerors through him. If I have no belief in God and in his goodness, maybe you believe there's a God, but you think that he doesn't like you. It's a hellish life, usually in a definite hellish end. You have faith to choose to not believe or believe. With your gift of faith, if it's used in the opposite of what was intended for God, it's your choice. But God gave you the choice to apply every tool that you have in the way that you see fit. And if you don't want to take his directions, then you have to go out there and find out what worked and what didn't, the hard way. God gave me a choice in the hope that he would choose, that I would choose God. It's not a monetary thing with God. I mean, certainly monetary things, we need monetary things. But he wants us to see the world and all its beauty in mankind, not just looking at how you're going to get ahead of someone else. His highest creation, and you decide to believe in him, not by force, but by choice. God does not force anyone to believe in him. Heaven is not a sentence to prison. It's a choice. Now, hell is a sentence, but not heaven. And you can be sure many beliefs will be presented to you in this life, besides believing in God. But they all end up failed plans you don't want to go down. It's with great sadness for me to see good men that could have been good choose evil and fall. And I'm sure especially it's great sadness to God because he made them in his image. But yet, most important, he wanted men and angels to have a choice without any forcing, any coercion from anybody, to freely choose him because they decided to put their faith in him and not another. He made us like gods, with a small g, to run our own show, to believe and have faith as we choose. There is no safe place of protection without God, though. It's just an illusion or a delusion, because he's in charge of this world and the next. He doesn't expect us to understand it all, but in faith, trust who he is and that he is for us and not lean on others. Trust in Him and not in things or your abilities. He's the one that's fully capable and willing to deliver us one day to heaven, with or without this body. Some got to go to Him with the body, as we know. He's not lacking anything He can't provide. And He loves us and made us in His image. Every one of us, from the lowest to the highest. He doesn't respect you because of your position in this world. That is your physical richness in money or lack of money or wisdom or not. But He asks, do you choose me this day? Will you follow my directions or another? He looks at man's heart, and depending on what he sees, He provides the missing ingredient. He's not there to give you anything that would lessen your relationship with Him. He only gives you good gifts that will make us better than we've been. To some He gives great material wealth because He knows they will use it well. To another He gives great wisdom because they will make the best use of it. But He's not interested in giving any good thing that would turn us away from Him. He only gives good gifts. He wants to give you what will be the highest use of you. And it's not based on material wealth. Some great men have little, but live well because they love God more than this world. Not to put down the wealthy or wealth, but wealth is just a byproduct of a relationship with Him, not a goal. Or a relationship with the devil might be your production of wealth, if that's what you chose. He wants us to be His great wealth. He doesn't want extreme poverty unless it's a lesson we need, but that was never His aim. He wanted us to have the best relationship we could have, regardless of the earthly position. He wanted us to realize that He and your relationship with Him is the highest wealth first. To be a friend of God, be called a friend of God. Whew. He wanted you to be all you could be, but not necessarily all earthly things you could have. These things are just temporary. He's permanent. He loves us most in the day we're in, not in the past days or in the future days. He doesn't want you to put off today as if it's inferior to your past or future. The past already is gone. It's had its day in the sun. And tomorrow, if you have one, will have its day in the sun. But tomorrow is not promised to anyone either. These are the glory days, superior to all your yesterdays, because you have the opportunity to apply all you've learned up to this point, along with what you could learn today. Don't let what you have learned go to waste, but don't let your yesterdays take up so much of today's time. Sure, some of the joys of the past, they come to mind. But the question is, how can I make today the most joyous that it could be? Let the days you're in be your main joy. In your past, I'm sure you'll have had some beautiful people in your life that have gone on to be with the Lord, and you will get to be with them again if you're God's. But we can't live there either in the future. Heaven without doing the work of the day we're in is folly. You can't affect your past. It's gone. But you can do something in today. And all your planning by doing in this day will have a great harvest in the future. But live the best days you can, one at a time, and your future will be a good one. You will always harvest what you sowed. There's no getting away from it. So plant some really good seeds today, and tomorrow will be incredible. But again, be looking at the joy of the day, because that's why God gave you another one. The richest dying man on earth would give all his silver and all his gold just to have one more day. Does that not tell you something, how valuable a day is? So don't take it for granted, as if you earned it or deserved it. Receive the gift of the day, because it is. Where does my help come from? It's from you, Lord. I don't have to worry about my past. It's already been judged and taken care of. He says, forget about it. Who will you serve this day? I feel sad for others I know and love and their choices they've made at times, but I can't work out their salvation. I can only work out my own. I can only be the best example to them. That's all I can do. I must repent from my past deeds and then move on to being a better person, a shining example today. Amen.